Hi, I'm Cece and this is Cece's Yoga Space. Today's video is going to be on your hip flexors. So we're going to do a strength and stretch for our hip flexors because hip flexors are definitely one of the main causes of lower back pains and other pains too. So if you have a tight hip flexor, you might, have excessive lower back pain, or your hips and your glutes could be very weakened or strained, and it's harder for you to do normal daily activities such as walking, sitting, walking up the stairs. Your hip flexors consist of different types of muscles, so the iliopsoas, the rectus femoris, I'm reading this, sartorius, and pectineus, right? So those four muscle groups are within what work the hip flexors. And they, those muscles, they work together to provide, flexion, and they connect your femur to, your lower back and your groin and your hips. So it's very essential to your everyday movement and activity. You sit all day, you're using your hip flexors for that. If you walk, if you run, if you walk up the stairs, you're using your hip flexor for that. Anytime you're doing a knee to chest movement, anytime that knee's coming up towards your torso or your chest, you're using your hip flexor. So your common causes of having tight hips could be you either have a really weak core, you sit way too long for prolonged hours, whether you have a desk job or you just drive a lot. Maybe you're lazy, and you just like to sit around all day on your couch. Wait, no judgment. Sometimes I do that too. But that could also cause tight hip flexor. Having poor posture. So if you're watching this, let's sit up. Let's bring our shoulders back and away from our ears. Excessive lower body exercises, especially if you don't stretch or strengthen those muscles. If you're just doing squats all day or RDLs all day and you're not really stretching out that hip flexor. Sports that require knee to chest action. Running, I don't know. Side sleeping, a lot of us sleep on our side, or even the fetal position that can cause hip flexor tightness. Some symptoms of having tight hip flexors could be while you're walking or running, you will hear popping or clicking, or you'll have lower back issues, problems with your range of motions, right? Or I guess causes and effects could be problems with range of motion, hip and lower back pain. And what causes the lower back pain is that our hip flexors actually run through the abdominal cavity into your lumbar spine. So since it's connected, you have a problem in one place, it's gonna affect another. Kind of how life works. Movement, so you'll have altered patterns of movement and even increased risk of injury. Some serious symptoms, if you experience these serious symptoms, maybe go to a doctor. I don't know. Sudden or sharp hip pain, swelling or bruising of the hip area, reduced hip strength, and then hip pain while you're walking or running. So your hip flexor, not only does it get tight, but it gets tight and then it gets weak. So, when it gets tight and then it gets weak, you're gonna have all sorts of problems. And that weakness can be compounded if you're someone who runs or someone who cycles, because of the constant aggressive impact of the hip flexors, the impact that your hip flexors are taking. I just blanked out. So since they're getting aggravated way too quickly, it's not giving it time to recover. The past few days, I've been sitting for work, and then also because I've been driving a lot, and I was stretching out my hip flexors, and it hurt so bad. So I was let me make this video, because I know for the people of today, of the society of today, we just sit around a lot, and there's no shame in it. But let's make sure we're moving our bodies and stretching it out, so that when we're 50 or 60, we're not having problems, or even 40 and 30. let's just not have problems within our bodies. So this it's gonna be like a short video because we're not gonna be doing too much. We're gonna be strengthening our hip flexors and then stretching it too. Yeah, let's get started. I hope you can hear the music in the background, right? It's gonna be some nice chill yoga vibes. If you can't hear it, then you're just gonna have to like listen to the sound of my amazing voice or something. I don't know. So, woo, my legs are tight. Thank God for this, right? All right, so our warm-up is going to consist of the glute bridges, clamshells, cat and cow, and then like fire hydrants or tabletop hip circles. All right, so we're gonna start with the glute bridge. For the glute bridge, we're gonna do 10 to 12 reps of this with 2 to 5 pulses at the top. We'll be fine. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna lay flat. Yeah, you can see me. Lay flat on your back with the soles of your feet planted on the ground. Try to have them like shoulder width apart, your feet, placing your hands on the ground. What we're gonna do is you're gonna squeeze those abs. Squeeze them like you've never squeezed them before. Engage your glutes and you're gonna lift your hips off the ground for a glute bridge. And while your hips are lifted off the ground, make sure your knees are pushed outwards so that you have that nice that nice tension going. You can see I'm not that flexible, so my hips barely raise off the ground and it's really tight up here. So again, barely raising off the ground, but that's fine. So this is 1, 2, and then let's pulse. 1, 2, and release, exhale. And on an inhale, lifting your hips back up and then pulse. 1, 2, ooh, exhale, release. That was 2. Ooh, inhale, bringing your glutes up, your hips up, and then let's pulse. 1, 2, exhale, release. This is starting to hurt. 4, inhale, bring those hips up. And 1, and 2, and exhale, release. I feel like those cycle instructors. And inhale, bringing your hips up and pulse. 1, 2, exhale, release. Or those Pilates instructors. Woo, 5 more. I can already feel them. I can feel my, inhale. And then we're gonna pulse. And then exhale, release. That was 6. Inhale, come up. 1, 2, exhale, release. Woo. That was 7. Inhale, bring your hips up, and then pulse. 2, exhale, release. Oh yeah, this might hurt a bit. That was 8. We're on 9 now. Bring your hips up. Pulse. 1, 2, exhale, release. Last time. Inhale, bring those hips up. Pulse. 1, 2, exhale, release. Woo! I don't know about y'all. That hurt. So we're going to turn onto one side. So turn to your right side because that's the side I turned on to. Bending both legs as such, having your feet stacked on top of each other, knees stacked off of each other, elbow right under your shoulder. We're gonna get into clamshells. Again, we're gonna do 10 reps of this each side. With control, control this, all right? Don't like go crazy. We're gonna do it control because we're really trying to strengthen our glutes and hip flexors and the muscles around that. Ready? So we're gonna open, exhale, close, inhale, open, exhale, close, inhale, open, exhale, close, inhale, open, exhale, close, Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. All right, inhale, open. We're already halfway there. Exhale, close. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Open. Close. One more time. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Turning to the other side. Ugh. Yeah, that hurt. Or it feels weird, not like painful, just weird. Anytime you open, inhale through your nose. Anytime you close, exhale through your mouth. Let's go. Open. And close. Open. And close. Open. And close. Open. And close. This is showing me my mobility. Open. I can barely open all the way and close without feeling the tightness of like my glutes. Open, we're halfway there. And close. Open. Close. Remember, controlled, nice and slow. Open. And close. Open. Close. One more time. Open. And close. Whew. Oh God. Now we're gonna do some cat and cows. We'll do it for like a minute. So having your hips directly under, having your knees directly under your hips, your wrists directly under your shoulders. We're going to inhale, arching our back, bringing our chin up towards the ceiling for cow. And on an exhale, you're gonna round your shoulders, tucking your chin into your chest, really feeling those back muscles spread for cat. Inhale, arching that back, bringing your head up towards the ceiling for cow. Exhale, into cat. Inhale, up to cow. Exhale to cat. Inhale up to cow. Exhale to cat. Couple more. Inhale to cow and exhale to cat. Coming into a neutral spine now. We're gonna do the tabletop hip circles or the fire hydrants. I'm gonna show it from the side and then the front. Taking your right leg, bringing it back, opening to the side, coming back down. That's one. From the front, it looks as such. Bringing that right leg back to the side. You already see how mine's not. I have tight hips, and down. That's two. Straight back, out to the side, down. That's three. Straight back, to the side, down, that's 4. Now we're going to go the opposite direction. This time we're going to open sideways, come straight back, come forward. That's 1. Again, that's going to be sideways, ooh, straight back, back down, those. Ooh. 3, 4. Now taking the opposite, your left leg, we're gonna go back, out, in for 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the opposite way. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Woo! Jeez. That was just the warm-up, so I hope you're good. Now, we're gonna get into like the main sequence, and we're gonna start with the lower lunge. So for the lower lunge, we're gonna hold a lot of these poses for quite a bit. So the warm-up was supposed to help you obviously warm up. Starting with your right leg, you're gonna bring it up into a lower lunge position, 90-degree angle. When you shift your hips forward, make sure your knee is directly on top of your ankle. If your knee goes over your toes, scoot your toes forward, because we're trying to target our inner hip and our hip flexor and our groin, not our calf and ankle. So knee directly over that ankle, all right? We're gonna shift forward. Ooh. As you can see, when I shift forward, I still have that nice 90 with this leg. And pulse. Yeah, we're holding this for like 2 minutes. So if you do feel any pain, you can always go into child's pose or release the deep stretch and go back in. So you can inhale back and then exhale forward. You're really feeling your hip flexors and your inner groin. Whew. Give me a second. And now from here, placing both of your hands on inside your inner leg. So inside as such, right? Planting them firmly on the ground. You're gonna tuck in the toes on your left foot and lift that left leg off the ground for lizard pose. This is a pretty deep and intense hip flexor like stretch. So if it hurts too much, you could always bring that knee back down and stay right here. I like to pulsate personally in these poses, but like, it can get tiring, I'm not even gonna lie.
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
I didn't ask you anything, Alexa. Dropping that knee on the ground. Ooh. Tucking your toe again, lifting that knee off the ground. Dropping that knee once more. Tucking in that toe, lifting that knee off the ground. Ooh, can feel it in my hip flexor and my lower back on my right leg. Exhale, release. Bring that right leg back to meet your left leg. Bring your hips down and back for child's pose. Coming out of child's pose, back into tabletop position. What you're going to do from here is you're gonna bring both legs out into plank, lower chaturanga, planting your feet firmly on the ground and coming up for camel pose, and not camel pose, cobra pose. Elbows nice and bent. Exhale, release. Tuck in your toes, bringing your body back up, lifting your knees off the ground, straightening your arms. Ooh. For up dog. And bringing your knees down, back to tabletop. We're gonna take pigeon pose, modified actually. So with your left leg straightening out, bringing your right leg up in a 90, can you see my feet? I want you guys to see my legs. There we go. Straightening out that back left leg, taking your right leg, bending it slightly, and you're gonna square your hips. So you'll know your hip is square if you feel that stretch on your outer right like glute. So if it's not squared, your body will be shifted towards the direction of the bent leg, right? So you want to even that out and make sure that your hips are centered between both legs, and you'll feel it. Unfortunately, I'm not there to correct you, so do those body checks yourselves. We're gonna inhale deeply into this space and exhale slowly. So inhale through your nose for a count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale slowly out of your mouth for a count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, let's inhale. And exhale. Bringing that knee or that leg back to tabletop, bringing your hips down and back for child's pose. Coming up to tabletop, we're gonna hit camel pose, but kind of the modified beginner version. Oh my goodness, these movements. All right, so what you're gonna do, that shows me. Standing straight up or kneeling straight up with your knees on the ground, your feet and your shin placed firmly on the ground. You're going to inhale, shifting your hips out and bringing your chest up and opening and allowing your shoulders to fall back and your head to look up. This is camel's pose. For your hands, it can be by your side for a beginner. heart center. You can bring them up and back to help. But in order to protect that lower back, you can take your hands with your palms and fingers facing down, placing it on your lower back, both sides, pushing your hips out. Ooh, this is a lot. And release. Oh God. Coming down to all fours and spreading those back muscles open in cat pose and releasing. Now we're gonna do all of that, but on the second leg, your left leg. I just keep moving this around. One day I will find like the perfect position, but it ain't today. Taking that left leg, boom. Coming into a lower lunge pose as such. Oh God. Shifting your hips forward, making sure that your knee is directly on top of your ankle. Remember, if your knee goes over your toes like this, scoot your toes forward so that when you shift forward, your knee is on top of your ankle, because we're targeting our hip flexors are in our groin. All right. If you have water, drink water, because I'm thirsty. Ooh. Now taking both hands and placing it on your inside your inner foot. Again, like this. You're gonna take that back right leg, tuck your toes into the ground, lifting that leg off the ground, straightening it for lizard pose. Exhale, drop that knee. Tuck your toes in, lift that knee off the ground. I like how my left foot is completely hidden by my arms. Lower that knee down, bring that left leg behind you. Exhale your hips down and back for child pose. Rest is over, coming back up. You're gonna take your left leg, straighten out your right leg, bringing that left leg up into pigeon pose. Again, squaring those hips, which means you're not gonna wanna be so far into one side. You're gonna center your weight between both legs, squaring those hips. One day this will be on the ground. One day. It ain't today. But one day. Inhale deeply into your outer glute, wherever you feel that tightness. Inhale deeply into that space. And exhale slowly out of your mouth. Coming back to tabletop position. We're going to come straight up again into camel pose, making sure your knees are on the ground, your feet and your shins are rested firmly down. Taking your hands palm downward, placing it in your lower back. On an inhale, shift back, opening up your chest and bringing your hips towards the outside or in front of you. And with your head, look up towards your ceiling. I'm looking at the timer. And release, planting your hands on the ground, rounding those shoulders, coming into cat pose. Oof. From here, finding yourself onto your glutes, to find yourself onto your back, bringing your knees to your chest, dropping your hands by your side, and dropping both knees towards the right side, and your head the opposite direction. Bringing both knees to center, dropping it towards your left side, your head facing the opposite direction. Hello. Coming back to center, planting both feet on the ground, resting your hands on your side or on your belly. We're going to take some deep breaths together. Inhale deeply through your nose. Exhale slowly out of your mouth. Inhale deeply through your nose. Exhale slowly out of your mouth. Turning onto one side of your mat. Coming up into a seated position. And yeah, that is all for today. A lot of these poses target not only your like hip flexors, but also the other muscle groups within your hips. So everything I listed in the beginning. So you might have felt a lot of your glutes, your gluteus medius was probably on fire. Your hamstrings were probably on fire, your hip flexors, you know, a lot of your lower body was probably on fire as we were stretching it out. And, you know, that's the goal. You know, in order to release one muscle, we must release other muscles, yes, because, you know, they're all interconnected. And it starts with releasing one to release everything else. So the more looser your hips get, your posture will improve. And also, if you work on your feet strength and your calves, you just work all the way up, somehow it's like all of your, you think that you're old, but it's literally just your body screaming for you to move and to stretch and to not stop movement. If you're over the age of like 25 or even 30, it's essential for you to keep moving. The less you move, the more you're training your body to just stay as it is, where it's at, and that's how you have all of these problems and you're like 35. You're like, oh my God, my lower back hurts, my knee hurts, I'm old. No, your body's like, please move me. Please add some movement into your daily routine, whether it's taking a 10-minute walk every day. After you have dinner, go take a walk or dance. You know, if you live home alone, just a 3-minute song and move your body, or take the stairs instead of taking the elevator. You know, it's little things that add up to the big things that will cause you not to need assistance when you're elderly. I love people of all ages and sizes. I'm just stating why your body hurts when you're older as you get older. But yeah, also lift, especially as a woman. Please lift, especially over the age of like 30. I think like your muscles start like deteriorating. Please start lifting. Don't think you're gonna get all big and bulky and stuff. Your muscles need to lift. You know, osteoporosis is real, and you can prevent that by, I don't know, drinking milk, exercising, whatever. Anyways, thanks for watching. Bye.